Hello, welcome to ARTV News. I'm Hannah.
And I'm Leaden, and there is much going on around Melbourne and the city of Port Phillip, with exhibitions and live performances, so let's get into it.
Developed for NGV by the Centre Pompidou and the Musée National Paris, Melbourne can now visit the Picasso exhibition at the NGV Melbourne. The Picasso exhibition is open from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. every day, showing more than 80 pieces of Picasso's artworks and many more by his contemporaries, including paintings, sculptures and ceramics. The tickets range from $10 to $65 for normal guests, with scheduled entry time, and $35 for NGV members with flexible entry time. The exhibition will end by the 9th of October 2022.
The National Gallery of Victoria is currently hosting the Queer exhibition, displaying forms of art ranging from historical eras to diverse media, exploring the collection from a queer perspective. The collection spans historical eras through diverse media outlets such as paintings, drawings, photography, decorative arts, fashion and video, further displaying forms of art from ancient times that have been discovered through the gallery's archives, with its earliest display being from 664 BC. Artworks on display are presented by artists who identify as queer, with some who lived in a time where such a notion was unspeakable. The exhibition will be on display until the 21st of August.
Divorced, Beheaded Live. Musical 6 has come to Melbourne. Written by Toby Marlowe and Lucy Moss, and is a global pop musical retelling the narrative of Henry VIII's wives. Currently, winner of 2 Tony Awards, including Best Original Score and having over 450 million Spotify streams, as well as having performed on Broadway, West End and the Sydney Opera House. It now settles in Melbourne at the Comedy Theatre until August. The musical modernises the historical events with a pop princess interpretation in a high-octane 75-minute pop musical sensation. For bookings and times, go to the Marine Group website.
The National Gallery of Victoria is currently running Transforming Worlds, Change and Traditions in Contemporary India, that showcases work from artists all across India about the constantly changing social environment. The exhibition displays a range of issues facing the world from a local perspective, including urbanisation, environmental degradation, changing gender dynamics, and public health emergencies such as the COVID-19 pandemic. Entry is free and the exhibition will run until the 28th of August 2022.
Melbourne Arts Centre has announced that they will partner with Queensland Performing Arts Centre to deliver an accredited industry training program for arts technical crews worth $750,000. It is the first collaborative program since COVID and seeks to connect people in an industry that is in great demand. Industry-relevant stage production skills training is scarce or non-existent, according to Vincent Fairfax Family Foundation Chief Executive Officer Jenny Wheatley. The program is set to commence in early 2023. For more information, visit artcentermelbourne.com.au.
There is a new and exciting arts venue in town, and after a 2.5-year dry spell, creativity is back in a big way. The Artful Yoga Gallery is a chic New York-style art gallery and yoga studio that will truly captivate all your senses and make sure you walk out with an experience like no other. The space is all about creativity and community, whether it's producing an event featuring some of Melbourne's most talented artists and their work as a backdrop, or perhaps yoga in an art gallery that's anything but your average yoga class. The gallery provides an affordable space to create a community and a platform for artists. Marie Couttet is a designer, writer, publisher and founder of retail concept store and gallery Melbourne Style, and has recently published a book titled Daughters of Melbourne, a guide to the invisible statues of Melbourne. Marie was one of the very first people to identify the contemporary rise of Melbourne's cultural and place power, and is the creative director of MCA Advertising, which she credits to her brilliant training at RMIT. However, it is her love for the city that she grew up in, Melbourne, that she drives her endeavours and is responsible for her passion. Before the release of Daughters of Melbourne, she wrote and published several other novels and possesses 2 Gold Award-winning histories, The Melbourne Book and The Art of Being Melbourne. She further spends time illustrating for children's picture books, where she won the prestigious Bologna Ragazzi Special Mention Prize in Italy 2017 for Spellbound. The book was inspired by the stories of the women who she believes built the city of Melbourne through the culture, community and commerce. with each female giving her story ranging from historical figures to modern-day feminists. The book meets the narratives of women that were dubbed difficult compared to men who were never so, and which ones determined the ins and outs of the Melburnian society that we live in today. The book is available online and in-store at QBD Books for $54.99.
The Royal Botanic Gardens, Melbourne, has come alive this winter with an immersive after-dark experience lightscape. The gardens will remain open after the sun goes down to allow visitors to walk almost 2 kilometres of light installations. An enormous success in the UK and US, Lightscape recently made its Australian debut at the Royal Botanic Gardens in Melbourne. Melbourne is the first garden in Australia to host Lightscape, which has been created in partnership with Sony Music Entertainment. Featuring luminous walkways and vistas, vibrant bursts of colour that run up trees like fireworks, and large-scale installations such as the Winter Cathedral, comprising more than 100,000 tiny lights. Lightscape takes audiences on a journey of light and sound through Melbourne's iconic botanic gardens. CEO and Director of the Royal Botanic Gardens, Professor Tim Entwisle, said he was delighted to announce this world-class event at the gardens, and visitors will experience nature in a whole new light. The event's promoter, Raymond Gubbe Limited, which is a division of Sony Music Entertainment, has been delivering illuminated trails for over 7 years. Culture Creative is a creative project and production management company based in the UK. The exhibition finishes 7th of August. For tickets and further information, go to their website.
Melbourne's Rising Festival ran between the 1st and 12th of June and showcased a range of visual arts performances, installations and live music throughout the city. Co-artistic directors Hannah Fox and Gideon Obazanek hope to rejuvenate the cultural environment that was forced dormant for the past 2 years. This is exactly what they did. With 225 events and the work from 801 artists, Rising had an event for everyone. The festival provided entertainment for all ages with both free and paid events. Sydney Myer Music Bowl was transformed into the wilds with inflatable sculptures, towering projections and soundscapes. To top it off, visitors could skate laps on an ice rink while serenaded by a choir performing 80s and 90s hits. The multi-storey car park in Chinatown was taken over by Golden Square with art installations, performances and parades exploring art, empire, identity and spirituality. 3 levels of entertainment led to a rooftop bar, with video work being projected onto the surrounding buildings. Kaleidoscope at the Arts Centre Melbourne allows you to step inside a light-filled maze with moving prisms, mirrors, glass and steel, creating a constantly shifting illusion. This installation has been extended and will run until July 24th with tickets for just $15. Monochord was a powerful laser beam hovering above the Yarra River and connecting the city either side of the Prince's Bridge. Music complemented the light show for a fully immersive experience. This free event gave people the chance to look at the city from different angles. 3 years in the making created a festival that was beyond anything the city had ever seen before. It was a combination of the Melbourne International Arts Festival and White Night. And while Rising was a smaller festival than its predecessors, it managed to leave an impact on each person who saw the many events. Visitors loved seeing the city come back to life and experiencing Melbourne culture, arts and nightlife once again. The Rising Festival is expected to return in 2023 and beyond.
The Artful Yoga Gallery, situated at 1 Vale Street, St Kilda, was where the heartbeat of the St Kilda art world gathered in majestic ceremony to honour their love of animals, art and each other. Electric mix of local artists manifesting and exhibiting original works forged in paint, on canvas, ceramics, metals, live performance, film and spoken word, artists called to freely give their talent, time and life force to speak on behalf of our non-human brethren, bringing to life every creature to be found on Noah's Ark.
I think there is nothing better than capturing the lives and hearts of animals in art, because it's through art that we share the stories of animals and that we keep them alive and we keep the relationship that we have with other species alive.
The opening of this special charity event attracted a convergence of celebrated and stalwart writers, actors, producers, art dealers, politicians and devotees. Thanks to the dedication of Roberta Shooter, who 3 years ago conceived of and followed through with the production of this special charity event. Inspiring support and commitment by all the contributing artists, as well as his close collaborators in curator-artist Anthony Breslin, Tamazin Ramsey, Richard Aspel and Frank Housen, just to name a few. With special thanks to Naya Kumar, creator of Artful Yoga Gallery, for the generous use of her venue.
What motivated me was my love of animals, and also being honoured to exhibit with a bunch of other talented artists who have a passion of art the same as me.
And then once I get into something, I just go nuts and just get totally devoted to it. So it's been the case with this show. Yeah.
This is what is important in life, and when we are reminded, we all inherently know it. The mission of In Good Company is devoted to promoting excellence in the artistic portrayal of the creatures sharing our planet and to the education of the public through art and event exhibition. For more information, go to Facebook at Artful Yoga Gallery.
This sung-through musical, appropriately titled Hamilton, follows the life of American founding father Alexander Hamilton. Touring Australia-wide, the musical is currently performing at Her Majesty's Theatre in Melbourne. It is known for being colour casting conscious, casting all ethnicities to play historically white figures. The producers state their choice to include such diversity among the stage production adds depth and provocation to every moment. The script, written by Lin-Manuel Miranda, really captures Hamilton's hunger for change when fighting for America's freedom, from his initial childhood dream of making a name for himself, transforming into the wonderful works of his mind as he figures out how to put his ideas to good use. Choreography by Andy Blankenberler, the dancers are commended on the stories they tell through movement, particularly the role of the bullet. Making only 2 appearances, this dancer has the audience and cast members holding their breath, watching her, or the bullet, glide across the stage. The artist's decision to portray arguably Hamilton's most defining moments through such visuals really creates a special and wondrous element to the musical. The humorous and timely piece sung by King George III adds a unique interpretation to the messy and one-sided breakup between America and England. In an interview with audience members, they noted King George, currently played by Brent Ashley Hill, really drove the connection between the audience and the cast. The more comedic moments coaxing the greatest reactions, successfully implementing some lightheartedness to help educate and entertain viewers on America's fight for freedom dating back to 1776. Later, only to be brought to tears with performances by Chloe Zool playing Eliza Hamilton and Marty Alex playing Philip Hamilton as the Hamilton family faced deceit, death and conflict. These moments really prove the importance of Hamilton's story and the musical's role in telling it. Check out hamiltonmusical.com.au for more information and to join the revolution.
Peter Bezankis set up the Stranger Studio and Gallery in November to explore another side of his photography in an artistic way.
The images are structured in a way that you could step into the scene, but the way they're constructed would be, do I want to step into that scene? Because you don't know what's around the corner or what's outside the frame. So that's partly where the dystopian undertone comes from, is that you don't know what this space is. And because it is that liminal space, the road or path, you could imagine yourself there, but would you want to be there?
Peter is an architecture and real estate photographer whose body of work represents his fascination with architecture and the urban environment. His work is good for the corporate world, as in large company boardrooms, big offices and reception areas.
What the artwork does is reinterpret the urban environment. So what I do with my work is I strip out, so it's all photographic work, and I strip out elements that to me are unnecessary for the image or a distraction to it, and sometimes I'll add in other elements. The foreground of all the images in this current body of work have roads and paths, and these are places we don't normally dwell in. They're called liminal spaces. But also, so the urban environment features large in the work, but there's often a little bit of nature, so it might be just a little bit of sky, a little bit of greenness. Colours are very subdued, the lighting is very flat. People sometimes say it looks like Jeffrey Smart, and it's also been, so someone's actually compared it, it feels like Jeffrey Smart, but it has the intellect of Rick and Moore. who's a slightly abstract artist.
So Peter, what are the benefits of companies purchasing your art?
First thing I'd say is what it isn't, and it's not things like inspirational posters, like there's, the ones that says no I in team, or cliched photos like sunsets and nature photographs, or inspirational photos.
Peter thinks it's important to display relative art that reflects what the business is about.
With staff, it can help to motivate them, inspire them in their workplace. It says to them also that this is not just some ordinary workplace that you roll up to, it's not some industrial cold environment. For clients, it can help convey something about the values of the organisation. Let's say you're a 150-year-old law firm and you've got your wood panelled offices. Now you might have, say, a 19th century painting in there. And the thing that you might be trying to convey is that you're old, you're established, you're conservative, and so on. But if you're a 150-year-old bank, you may want to convey something different, and that is that you're a modern company, that you're progressive, that you understand your customers. The image is part of their branding, but it shouldn't aim to show what they do. For example, the law firm wouldn't have an image of the scars of justice. But say a tech company might, that's progressive, innovative, might want to show work that is progressive and innovative.
Large companies often need to employ outside assistants to find what works best for their brand.
Often art consultants are employed, and they will help determine the values of the company, and that person then may help to source and curate the artwork. In a smaller organisation, it might be the principal of the company or the owner, and that might be determined partly by their personal taste and their own values and what they're wanting to project.
You can find Peter in the Stranger Gallery and Studio in St Kilda.
That's all we have for now. Thanks for watching.
And we'll see you real soon.